Yeah, so as a kid, um, yeah, we as children we grew up with our parents in Myers Flat, Bendigo, Victoria, and my parents used to work a lot. Yeah, I was a middle child. I thought I was a middle child. So my sister Sarah, she's younger. My brother Christopher, he's older, but round about the age of 15, something like that, we find out. Well, yeah, my brother wasn't. He was my uncle's kid, so that's a bit strange. That's all a bit strange, but some weird shit happens within families. But it's all this realizations. You have realizations in life, and well, me and my brother were both in high school. My sister was probably in primary school at the time. So me and my brother were going to Kangaroo Flat, and my sister was going to Maiden Gully Primary School. We lived at the address of Sheldon's Road, Myers Flat, Lot 1. And anyway, it was just before I got hit by a car in 1995. My brother was working at the Donaldson's Butchery. Donaldson's? Yeah, bit funny. So he was working at the Donaldson's Butchery in Eaglehawk, and he obviously he couldn't take on that job anymore, whether it was for a school or for some sort of sporting commitment, I'm not sure. But anyway, so I ended up taking the job on at Donaldson's Butchery. Um, but within the first 2 weeks of working at Donaldson's Butchery, I was struck by a motor vehicle. So my brother resigned. Whatever, for whatever reason, and took on this job to do cleaning after school at Donaldson's Butchery. We pretty much we both used to ride to school, ride to the bus stop, ride to school, ride home. It was pretty hard work as a kid. But anyway, on me way home from one night, working just knocked off from Donaldson's Butchery, we were gonna take the fucking we're going to take the two Sheldon. We lived at Sheldon's Road, and I was working at Donaldson's Butchery. My brother resigned. 2 weeks after he resigned, I was riding home from Donaldson's Butchery, and I got hit by a car. Coincidence, maybe, but realistically, coincidence. A lot of these coincidences don't happen so often in life. So once you start putting two and two together, things start adding up. So it was like just on dusk. It would have been probably actually dark, depending, because of Victoria, there's daylight savings and stuff like that. So I was on my way down Allies Road on my push bike, on my mountain bike. Just been my birthday, May. So I got hitting. I think it was 26th of June, 1995. My birthday was the 23rd of May. So just after my birthday, approximately about a month, I got hit by a car travelling down the Allies Road, not far from the railway crossing there, from the Allies Hotel. And I got struck. This is what I've been told, because I've got no recollection of the accident at all. But I remember being in hospital and having to learn to walk and talk and all that sort of stuff again. So it's been a big impact in my life. And so I was just over the railway crossing, heading towards Sheldon's Road. And supposedly this and a lady hit me at approximately 80 kilometres an hour, and supposedly I went over the roof and over a car and landed behind her just before her house. She lived at was a Mrs. Griffith. I'm not quite sure exactly what number. I did have the photos. It's on my Facebook, so I can have a. You're gonna look it up. But so apparently there was some other guy travelling the other way that seen me on the side of the road, some kid on the side of the road, and he seen me bike and he stopped. And apparently it was I used to go to school with this kid, Adam White. It was apparently Mr. White stopped. He stopped on the side of the road. There was he too nearly ran over the lady, because the lady was apparently walking like a fucking zombie down the middle of the road. Well, he stopped and loosened my helmet. Lucky he loosened my helmet, because they said if he hadn't loosened my helmet, my brain was swollen and it would have done more damage if he didn't do so. So the lady's, obviously found her way, got in her car and gone on her merry way. And I'm guessing this Mr. White would have called the police, or whether he called the ambulance, I'm not sure. But to this day, there's still a question because like I rang my father the other day and I said, why didn't you? I go, because there was no charges laid against this lady no charges laid against this lady that hit me by a motor vehicle. So she hit me. I'm laying on the side of the road unconscious. I would have been in a coma state. So the police would have attended. The ambulance would have come to pick me up, obviously. And to my knowledge, there was no charges laid at all. So that's a bit fucking sus. Why wouldn't the police have followed up? They obviously knew who hit me. They knew what happened, but there was no no effort at all made to follow up why Mrs. Griffith hit me, whether she was drunk, whether she was tired, whatever it may have been. And to this day, 21 years later, approximately, I'm still asking questions why. And I still, to this day, doubt police and doubt the job that they do. So I was taken to the Bendigo hospital by ambulance. Another funny thing, they go, this is how good some of the country doctors are. I got to the hospital and they reckon, supposedly that my parents said, they reckon I had 2 broken legs. Well, I didn't have 2 broken legs. I had a fractured skull. I had a brain injury from this lady hitting me, and the police did nothing about it. So then, next thing, I've got flown from Bendigo to Melbourne, and then I was at the Royal Children's Hospital for about friggin' 3 to 6 months, or 3 months, 6 months, something like that. 3 months probably. But during this time I was in a coma. So I was in a coma. Out to it, I didn't know what was going on. Unconscious. And once I gained consciousness, I had to learn to walk, talk, speak, everything again. I had to couldn't shit, couldn't piss, couldn't do nothing. So once I regained consciousness, I think it was about 3 months or something like this, for me to sort of try to get back on my feet, and it was a miraculous recovery because realistically, I could have been dead, but I didn't. One thing from this whole thing that I do remember to today is just like it was like a dream. It was like this falling dream. It was just like a falling dream. It was like I was falling, and then all of a sudden there was this bright light. It was the brightest light you could ever imagine, possibly in your life. And then I was thinking, after that I woke up. So there was 3 months of rehabilitation undertaken at the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne, and then after that I was taken back to the Bendigo Base Hospital in Bendigo, and was to do rehabilitation there. But the funny thing was that, I was taken back to the Bendigo Base Hospital for rehabilitation. I was a child at the age of 15 who had just been through a life-changing, dramatic experience, being hit by a car, acquired brain injury, had to learn to walk and talk, and I still wasn't 100% yet. And they put me in a ward at the Bendigo Base Hospital full of Alzheimer's patients, people walking around like zombies, didn't know where they were, people with really severe illnesses. So for a child of the age of 15, that was very, very scary. It was pretty damn scary. And also they put me in a room, the room that I was put in, there was restraints on the bed, there was cameras in the room, and I was just like, what the fuck's going on? I was just freaking out the whole time. So I stayed there a couple of days, and then within a couple of days I thought, I'm getting out of here, fuck this, So I escaped down the down the galley lift where they brought up the food, and I just went off on me merry way home. So that just goes to show you some doubts about public hospitals. It's the first incident where I can doubt public hospitals. So anyway, I started walking home, ended up getting home, and then my mother took me back to the hospital because I still had to go. I still had to undergo rehabilitation because I still wasn't 100% at this stage. And well, she brought back a few photos and things like this, and made me feel a little bit more comfortable. So it wasn't so bad, and luckily that I was strong, and I just kept fighting. Otherwise, I wouldn't be alive, and I wouldn't be alive today. Throughout all the rest of this bullshit that's gone on throughout my life, and so I went back and continued the rehabilitation. And then after a while, I was just like, nah. So I ended up going back home to live with my parents at Sheldon's Road, Myers Flat. So then the rehabilitation probably kept going on for a few months after that. And then this was in 1995, and I think I ended up going back to school. So I think I was in year 8, 1995. I went back to school in 1996 and started a remedial year 9.